Okay, so on the thumbnail, I know there are so many other things that are celebratory for this game. Pettersson, Demko, you had yourselves Garland getting back on the board, and JT Miller scoring the goal of the year. I get that, but you know what? It's one night, one more time. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. Actually, that doesn't really make all too much sense because the Canucks play the Coyotes like twice more before the season ends off. But I thought it was funny to go out there and give our little tribute to Roussel, Loui Eriksson, and I guess you could say Travis Boyd as well because, yeah, Beagle didn't play tonight, unfortunately. But we did have the 3 Vancouver Canucks of yesteryear on the Arizona roster. And sure, we had good Canucks things in this game, but these 3 guys, 2 guys in particular, if you want to say Eriksson and Roussel, they were kind of the highlight of my night, coming into this game and sitting down and watching it. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, though. I'll tell you exactly how I viewed this game, because before puck drop, like 10, 15 minutes before 7 p.m., I kind of just got a wave of tiredness, and I was like, okay, let's just go to bed a little bit, lie down, go under the covers, and maybe sleep it off. Try to go for a short power nap of some sorts, and be fresh and ready to go once the game is underway. And then I didn't wake up until 8:08 p.m. The first period was already over, and based off the shots and based off the reactions from Canucks fans on social media, this first period did not appear to be a very good one. Shots on goal after the end of the first, 15-7 Arizona, although the score is 0-0. Demko makes all the saves that he can, and you also have Vejmelka on the other side making all the saves that he could as well. He's a very underrated goaltender, by the way, that Karel Vejmelka. Big props to that guy. But the second period is when I start to tune in, and that is when things sort of get fun. Because immediately after turning on the TV and watching what was going on, I saw Antoine Roussel right there on my screen. I was like, yes, he's back. He's back here in Rogers Arena, and he's barking off at some Vancouver Canucks player like the guy always does. Very nice to see. Eventually, the next shift, the Canucks throw it into the offensive zone. It's a long shot from Tyler Mott, the other Tyler M. I almost said Tyler Madden there for a second. That would have been really bad because that guy's not on our team anymore. Tyler Mott with a long shot. It goes well wide into the corner. Noah Juleson pinches in from the blue line, picks the rebound off the boards, and then he throws it right up into the slot where Conor Garland squeaks in there. He one-times it right over the glove of Vejmelka. It's 1-0 Vancouver, and Conor Garland has his first point in like 7 games or whatever it is. Garland said earlier today in the interview, it's tough playing against your former team. It's the first time he's ever done it. And he said that he felt like he needs to be better because he hasn't scored any points in 6 games. But he goes out there, gets a point here tonight. Very nice goal. Very nice setup, too, by Noah Juleson. I want to say this, give some props to this guy over here because he was moving along in the offensive zone. He was controlling and confident with the puck. It was very nice to see Noah Juleson kind of play the best game that we have seen out of this guy so far in his young career, and he actually picks up his first point with the Canucks on this play as well. So very nice to see for Noah Juleson. The Canucks get a power play after. It's Phil Kessel. It's OEL manning the top of the power play instead of Quinn Hughes because Hughes was out with protocols. And John Garrett said this on the broadcast, and I'll agree with him right here. I love OEL as the top of the umbrella guy rather than the guy on the side, taking every 4th pass from Quinn Hughes. Hughes is usually the guy at the top of the umbrella whom the power play runs throughout. He gets every other pass. He usually shoots it on goal if there's no passing opportunities. And OEL, honestly, he kind of has a little bit more control and poise in that position. Not to say that Hughes is not great. I love Quinn Hughes. It's just he's a lot more forceful when it comes to trying to make the pass that isn't there or trying to get a shot that goes a little bit high and wide. Maybe it's the effect because they're playing the Coyotes, and the Coyotes were not really all too great of a team, but OEL displayed a very high level of control and poise when he shot the puck towards Bo Horvat off of his knee and in. It's 2-0 Vancouver, and we saw that power play strength come to fruition throughout the rest of the game because, OEL was the top power play guy in Arizona for years, so this guy kind of knows what he's doing in this position. He gets himself an assist, Bo Horvat gets the goal. It's 2-0 Vancouver, and immediately after, It's Höglander. Höglander goes up the wing. Podkolzin at the blue line with a very cheeky pass right into the middle for Petey, who streaks right in. He shoots it and he scores it right over the glove of Karel Vejmelka. And John Garrett said this as well. He loves that they're taking advantage of the wrong-handed goaltender. You don't see too many right-handed catching goaltenders in the NHL. And so when you do face off against one of these guys, all of the shooting and the tendencies and the strengths and all that, it's flipped, because for blocker goals, it's a lot easier for the goalie to raise their elbow and stuff to get those top cheese shots. But for gloving, everybody loves to go top shelf on the glove side, and that's what Petey did on this goal right here. The Canucks get 3 goals in 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And honestly, this one could not have been done without assists from Höglander and Podkolzin. They do some very good work moving the puck up along the boards and centering it. Not to mention Tyler Myers as well, who started that whole play off in the Canucks zone. The next few plays, we see ourselves some very good desperation saves by Demko. Again, Noah Juulsen stands out to me. He's having a great game. Another long shot from him plops down in front on the rebound. And then the Arizona Coyotes get one back. It's Lawson Crouse on the backhand, who kind of takes the puck after it bounces around in front. It's a big rebound, and Demko kind of challenges it. Eventually, Crouse is able to outweight Demko and slip it by him, but there's a lot of security there. Even if Crouse missed the net, Phil Kessel was right there on the open side by himself, so he probably would have tapped it in had the shot gone wide. Either way, though, it's 3-1 Vancouver, and the period ends off with that score. The Canucks get themselves a penalty. The Coyotes' power play is pretty ineffective. Demko has a very nice save on Clayton Keller as he streaks in with 2 minutes left. Very nice save on the 5-hole, and then he pops it up into his glove. That's revenge for the save streak from the All-Star Skills Competition, my guy. Sorry, Keller, that's just how it works. Demko goes out there, and he gets the job done. The Canucks had some good pressure at the end of the second period, but they held off and were able to end things off 3-1. The third period was pretty great, though, and this is kind of where we start seeing a lot of the other things that we could have talked about in the thumbnail of this video, instead of course, the Eriksson and Roussel tribute. Tanner Pearson gets a great feed from Brock Boeser early on. He almost pots one in 5-hole. And then you have yourselves a 4-on-4 situation. It's Podkolzin and Chychrun who rough each other up quite a bit, and then we see some Connor McDavid magic. This is the Alexis Lafreniere trade value booster right here, baby. As JT Miller picks the puck up behind his own goal, he goes end to end, right through the middle, right through everybody. He cuts into the offensive zone, streaks down the right side, protects the puck well with his body, cuts in front, shoots it, he scores it. JT Miller is absolutely on top of the world, and he scores the goal of the year here for the Vancouver Canucks on a play that Miller seemingly does maybe once every 2 weeks, where he comes in and tries to solo it, and once in a while it works. It leads to some pretty good overtime goals here and there. Other times it leads to Johnny Gaudreau wide open slap shots in overtime, but regardless, this time, it worked, and it's 4-1 Vancouver after a very, very good rush. That's a goal scorer's goal from a guy who's one of the better players in the entire NHL. So Canucks fans in the building, they're having a good time. They start cheering Bruce, there it is, a little bit later into the night, so that's how you know the fan base is kind of happy. Eventually, the Coyotes get a power play. It's Tyler Motte to the box for the weirdest reason. His stick gets checked out of his hands and it hits the Arizona guy in the face. The Coyotes applied incredible pressure on this power play. They almost looked like they would have scored like 2 or 3 times, but Demko stands tall. He keeps it 4-1. The Canucks end up getting a power play immediately after, and it was kind of a funny one, too. The Canucks were sort of just boxing in closer and closer and closer as the power play went on, and it was kind of funny being on the opposite side of that, because quite frequently during the Travis Green stint earlier on in the season, the Canucks on the PK would just collapse inwards, and the opposite team would just loom over the offensive zone with a high level of control, and the Canucks did that here. Eventually, it's Petey who shoots it. It's going wide, and Boeser is just right there on the doorstep. Nobody boxes him out, and he tips it in, so it's 5-1 Vancouver. That's the end of the goals, but that's not the end of the action, because we have ourselves a fight. Kyle Burroughs and Lawson Crouse immediately after, and Burroughs, dude, he goes over to the crowd, and he raises both hands in the air, just commanding them to cheer even more. What a fantastic moment right there. 3 minutes left. We had ourselves the Bruce, there it is chance. The Canucks get another power play, but they don't really do anything on it, and they just elect to kill the time off. The Canucks end up winning this one 5-1, and you take a look at the point shares. Miller gets himself 2 points, Pettersson with 2 points, Horvat with 2 points, OEL has 3 points on the night. And so he goes out there and shows off, yeah, so far, Quinn Hughes being away, not a big deal. I got this, fam. Now, we'll see if they're able to do it again tomorrow because they're playing the Islanders, who are also a pretty bad team, so hopefully there's some extended swagger from there. But this is kind of what I was talking about in the previous video, was it not? The fact that the Vancouver Canucks are playing some bad teams without Hughes, but then they have themselves the Toronto game, and that's kind of where things are going to melt down, and we're really going to need to rely on the best versions of these players possible. Am I still on Team Tank? Yeah, I'd probably want to see them go out there and sell and probably get a high draft pick, but still, I can appreciate a win like this, especially in a building that hasn't seen Canucks action in so long. So talk to me in the comments, what do you think about this game over here? Thank you so much, Eriksson and Roussel, for your service with the Vancouver Canucks. Thank you for Garland. Thank you for OEL. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.